Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out there on YouTube, wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you're doing well. First non gaming video in a while, man. And I felt like the best thing that I could do to kick this whole channel shift off would be to tell you guys a little bit about myself and not in the cliche sense of like, my name is David and I'm 24 and I'm really into video games and you guys already tuned out, right? We're going to go into the nitty gritty of a few things, but before we get started with that, just a quick friendly reminder to make sure you click the subscribe button as well as ring the notification bell right next to it if you end up enjoying this video and would like to see more videos like it going forward. You can also tune into my live streams on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The link for that is in the video description below. Let's kick things off with the very first question. What is my favorite book and why? Well, I could go with the Christian cliche answer and tell you it's the Bible. Obviously, I enjoy the Bible. This is about getting to know me and me personally. I am a huge fan of the Harry Potter series. My favorite book specifically was The Order of the Phoenix. I couldn't really tell you why that specific one out of the series, but I can tell you why I loved Harry Potter so much. I've always been a big fan of the good versus evil concept in most anything in life, whether that's a movie, a book, or a television series, whatever it may be. But I really also enjoy fantasy and sci-fi specifically as genres because you kind of get this opportunity to live in a world that doesn't actually exist in the way it's portrayed, but you kind of feel like you are in that world for a little bit. And I think that's the biggest reason why I love Harry Potter so much because there's just some very relatable characters in that book series. Moving on to the second question, what is my favorite movie? I'm going to put a quick disclaimer out there before I tell you what it is. It is not family friendly. It is not safe for work. I am telling you this because I'm being real and genuine with all of you that are watching this. My favorite movie of all time is a movie called Spaceballs. Now, for those of you youngsters, I'm 24. Why am I calling you youngsters? For those of you who don't know what Spaceballs is basically a parody of Star Wars and Star Trek slammed into one incredibly funny movie. Stars Rick Moranis, John Candy, as well as many others that I truly and genuinely loved. Those are my two favorites. Rick Moranis plays Dark Helmet, and John Candy plays Barf. And if you have seen the movie, you know. If not, you're like really confused right now as to why there was a character named Barf. Anyway, I love that movie because of, again, the good versus evil concept. It's also super funny. It's kind of one of those like really cringy, funny movies. And I love cringy, funny movies. That's just kind of my thing. So, moving on to the third question, which is kind of an interesting one. I really had to think about this for a second. What is my favorite holiday? My favorite holiday is Easter. I really wasn't sure because I'm not that much of a traditional person. And I think a lot of the reason that people choose their favorite holiday is based on their family's traditions around that season. Like, for instance, I know for me, if I were to choose based on my family traditions, my mom started a tradition in my teenage years around Thanksgiving where I would get a pizza on Thanksgiving because I'm a really picky eater and I don't like turkey. I know. Before you go rush into the comments, I know I'm odd. I get it. But anyway, moving right along, my favorite holiday is Easter. And the biggest reason that I've chosen Easter as my favorite holiday is because of the fact that there are people who are not normally in church that are in church on Easter. And that's true of a few other holidays throughout the year as well. But Easter is 100% focused on the gospel if it's taught properly in the church. And as a guy who has the heart of an evangelist and the giftings of an evangelist, my heart's desire is to see people come to Christ in a big way. And around Easter, you see more of those kinds of folks, and you get a bigger opportunity, if you're me, to go talk to someone you didn't know before to find out what their story of faith is, or if they haven't had one started yet, you have the chance to talk to them about Jesus. Moving right along to my best or favorite, however you want to phrase it, childhood memory. My favorite childhood memories all revolve around video games and friends. My favorite of all time, though, is playing Halo Combat Evolved with my best friend, Kevin Anderson. I choose that set specifically, both the game and the person, because I actually played that recently on PC. The Master Chief Collection, of course, they did a remastering and put it on PC and all that fun stuff. Kevin and I were playing that recently again and remembering there's a I want to say it's the third mission. You go through this little cave, and it's like this like underground system that the Covenant have built. On the other side of it, after you hit this checkpoint, there's this cliff off to the left. It's also a waterfall. The amount of times that I drove off of that cliff with Kevin in the Warthog, we did it again for nostalgic purposes, and I couldn't stop laughing for probably a solid 30 or 4 minutes. It was really awesome. I think it's just nostalgia is the reason I love that set so much. Kevin and I have been friends since the fourth grade, and Halo has been a big part of my life since I started playing it. Oddly enough, talking about Kevin Anderson very, very easily ties us into the next question: who is my best friend and what is one of my favorite things about them? Now, I want to make this really clear. I've got a couple of really close friends that I'm super grateful for, but my best friend is Kevin because of how long he and I have been friends for and how much crap he and I have put each other through, and we've stayed friends. We've had our moments, but we've stayed friends since the fourth grade, which is impressive because he's had to deal with me for that length of time. One of my favorite things about Kevin is his loyalty. The dude literally had so many reasons to tell me to take a hike, but he never did. And while he is not himself a hardcore believer like I am in that sense, he'll even admit that off his own admission. He'll say that, but he has been probably one of the best pictures of Christ to me in person throughout my life. The amount of grace and mercy that pours out of that kid is amazing. I say kid, he's my age, but whatever. A little bit of a lighter question here. Am I a dog or a cat person? You're probably waiting like with a comment ready, depending on which one you are, depending on what I say here. I am a dog person. All right. I love cats, but I love dogs more. Dogs are just the greatest. I don't get the I love cats more than dogs thing. I get liking them equally. I don't understand how people get to cats above dogs. Maybe it's a personality thing. Dogs are really obnoxious and in your face, and I love that. Cats are definitely not. So maybe people who are more introverted like cats more and extroverts like dogs more. Let me know in the comments if you think I might be onto something with that, because that literally just hit me like while I was recording, like just now. Literally just now. The next question is, what do I do to relax? I love getting a pizza, key lime pie, and cheese balls and sitting down and watching a show. And the show varies from day to day, from week to week, from year to year, blah, 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 blah. But currently, the show that I have just recently gotten into is a show called The Chosen. This is not a hashtag ad. This is not sponsored by any stretch of the imagination. But I highly encourage you guys to head to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Is that what it is? iOS App Store, whatever. You Apple people know what I'm talking about. Go to the App Store on your phone, search for The Chosen, download it, and watch the series. It is incredible. I'm only 3 episodes in as of recording this video, and I can tell you it's probably, I know for sure it's definitely shifted my perspective on who Jesus is and how he operates in a big way. But anyhow, the show aside, specifically for just a second, I love sitting down with some friends, some food, and a show. Or even if the friends can't be there and it's just me, then I'll watch Friends, which is unfortunately not on Netflix anymore. I'm not at all bitter about that, though. Final question I've left for last for a reason. The question is, what do I believe happens to us when we die? This is a very big portion of my life, and especially because this channel is going to be a lifestyle vlog and spiritually based conversation type channel. I think this is a very relevant question for me to ask at the very beginning of this transition into that style of content. I believe you end up in one of two places, heaven or hell. The only distinction between those two, and the only way you get to heaven versus hell, is through Jesus. You have to understand, from my perspective as a Christian, God, the creator of the universe, is perfect, just, and holy. We, by even lying once, stealing a paperclip from the office, or looking at a girl or guy with lust in our heart, become adulterers. And one instance of any of those three things, as well as countless others, separates us between a perfect, loving God. And there's just this huge gap there. And it blows my mind that Jesus, this guy, literally God in the flesh, came down to the earth, lived a perfect and blameless life, chose to die on a cross, was buried, rose again 3 days later. In so doing, he became the perfect sacrifice for all of mankind's sins, past, present, and future. That blows my freaking mind, because in doing that, he closed that gap for me and for you watching this to get to God. And if you're watching this video right now and you're like, I don't have a relationship with Jesus, but I want to know about this, you can, again, go to my Twitch stream. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Feel free to ask any questions you have regarding faith. And if I don't have an answer, I promise you I will do everything I can to find out for you. And I will just tell you I don't know. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Appreciate you guys watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Share it with a friend if you think that they would enjoy getting to know some random bearded dude on the internet. And until the next video, this is Bearden for Hope. I'm signing off.